Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. It's Kara K, where we talk about all things knit and crochet. Today I'm really feeling a knit and chat. And it's the perfect timing because I wanted to talk about what it was like experiencing Christmas in a country that doesn't celebrate Christmas. So for the past 5 years, I've lived in Turkey with my husband in Istanbul, and it is a majority Muslim country, so they don't have Christmas culture and they don't celebrate Christmas, which is fine. I'm not saying that they need to do anything. I'm just talking about my experience, coming from the States where we're like, Christmas. As a Christmas lover, to go and live somewhere where they don't even really know what it is. First things first, let me get my sweater. I'm working on the sleeve of this bad boy. Hopefully I can knock this out and get this thing done. We're gonna hop right into it. So I went traveling to Turkey 5 years ago. I met my husband and I never left. And we lived there, like I said, for 5 years because he couldn't come visit the US. It's really difficult to get a visa to the US from Turkey. And we got married 2 years later, and then we had to wait for his green card. So it took 5 years total to come here. So this is our first year in the US for Christmas, and I'm so excited. I'm so happy to share this with my husband because it's really important to me. Now, first huge culture shock when I went to Turkey, my first Christmas there. Now, I knew they don't celebrate Christmas, and I thought, like, I'm an adult. I'm gonna be fine. No worries. I bawled my eyes out. I'm not even joking. It was Christmas Eve, and I was babbling like a baby crying because I was so sad. Now, I had never experienced a country that doesn't celebrate Christmas, so it was so strange to go outside and there was no warmth, no Christmas decor, no seasonal treats and smells and sweets and flavors, no atmosphere, no vibe of like the Christmas shopping, and it was so depressing. It was just cold. It was just cold and bare and a cold, chilly wind with no leaves on the trees, no lights, no nothing. And that really shocked me the first year. I think I didn't realize how much it meant to me until I experienced not having it. So that was a really big shock. Now, every year they have been doing more and more, particularly in touristic areas, because they want to lure in tourists. But in any case, the second biggest shock was that they think that Christmas and New Year's are the same thing. They don't know that they're separate holidays for separate reasons. They just think it's the same. So what shocked me was there's literally nothing until the day before New Year's Eve. And then you'll see, like, in the touristic areas, like a guy in a Santa Claus suit, and they're literally selling little Christmas trees for like the restaurants and stuff to like decorate. I'm like, dude, it's over. Like, it's already done. You can't start now. Like, I start decorating December 1st, but they are like, it's already over and you're already done. And then they start putting a couple of things. Now, they even call a Christmas tree a New Year's tree because they just don't know. And the other funny thing is, like, everyone knows Jingle Bells. But again, they play it on New Year's, and it's so associated with New Year's. It's a New Year's song. It's not a Christmas song. So that was really surprising because the first year, I didn't know where to buy stuff. I didn't know how to order online. Like, I didn't know how to do anything. So I was just like, we won't like do a whole big Christmas. And my husband, like, he was so sweet. Like, he had never done Christmas before. but he wanted to buy me something because he's like, well, it's your holiday, like it's your tradition. So he orders me something to be delivered on December 1st. I'm sorry, January 1st, because he thought Christmas and New Year's was the same thing. And so, like I said, when I was bawling my eyes out on New Year's Eve because I'm watching The Grinch, you know, on my little laptop, like we usually do, and I just start crying, and he's like, "What's wrong?" Like he doesn't understand why I'm crying, and I was like, "Well, you know, there's no decorations, and usually I'm with my family, and we're starting to open presents, and you know all this stuff." And he's like, "It's okay, it's okay. Like we can decorate, we can decorate." I was like, "There's no time," and he's like, "What do you mean? When is Christmas?" And I'm like, "It's tomorrow." And he's like, "Tomorrow?" And that's when I realized that he thought that Christmas was on New Year's Day. So a little miscommunication there. But it's a funny story nonetheless. Third thing, they are not big on gift giving. Like they don't have the culture of gift giving. Like here, if it's someone's birthday, everyone is like, "Oh my gosh, like it's so special," and all of these things. They do, like, birthday parties is a very new thing, and they're just now doing it, and they do it for kids normally. Like it's a newer generation thing. So for example, my husband, he only ever had one birthday present, and it was from a teacher that really liked him. That was his first ever wrapped present until I came along and gave him his first Christmas present. Because they don't wrap gifts. Like if they give it to you as especially if you're an adult, they usually give food gifts, which is wonderful. You know, like some really quality olive oil or like some stuffed wine leaves, but they don't wrap things. So it's not a surprise. They don't understand the concept of the surprise. Again, just different. To this day, my husband will be like, "Why don't you just tell me what you want and I'll buy it?" And I'm like, "No, it's a surprise." And he doesn't get that. Yeah, so there's not like a gift giving culture like there is here. There's not like a birthday culture. It's a lot of consumerism that doesn't exist there. And the other thing is, like, I bought Christmas presents for his parents, so for my in-laws. And when you give a Turkish person a present like that's wrapped, they don't open it in front of you. They leave and then they open it by themselves, which I thought was really strange. I was like, "What?" Like I literally give it to them. They're like, "Oh, thanks, bye." And I'm like, "What?" Where are you going? You have to open it, you know, because you want to see their reaction. But they don't open gifts in front of people. I think they feel shame, which is funny. And there's something about the name on a present that it just tickles them. So for example, I wrapped my husband's present, like our first Christmas, and I put his name on it, and he's like, "My name is on it?" And he's like, should I put your name on your present? I was like, yeah, you can put my name. Normally, yes, you do. And then he puts my full name, you know, like my first and last name from his first and last name. Very official, because it was so important. He's like, "Wow." And when I gave the presents to his parents, he was like, "Make sure you put their names." And I was like, "Yeah, I will. Like, don't worry." And I thought that was so interesting. And when I gave like his nieces and nephews, I made some presents and I gave them presents as well. And what I noticed is that they didn't want to mess up the packaging, like the wrapping or the bag. They were very careful. So they had like the little box or the bag, and then they, with their name on it, and they would put the toy or whatever I made back in the bag and like keep it and hold it and just like smile at me. And it's little things like that, you know, that they thought that this is theirs and theirs only, and it was so special to them, you know. And it's such a common thing for us, like you rip that paper and you throw it away, but they really loved that. Third thing is, I kind of hinted at this already, but there's a very different culture around what you spend your money on. They don't have a consumerist culture. So even for their own holidays, they don't really decorate because it's really hard to make money in Turkey. People struggle a lot, and it's more of a survival and necessity mindset. Only rich people decorate, now that I think of it. But they don't understand why you would buy something and only use it for 30 days or for a month. Like, it doesn't make any sense to them, and they think it's a waste of money. They don't yet get the concept of buying something because it makes you happy. It has to have a use, and it has to be practical. So that kind of surprised me, because now my people were very nice to me. Like, they never had any issue with my Christmas stuff or blah blah blah, but there were times where people would come over and they would see my Christmas tree and they'd be like, why do you need that? It's so important to me. So it hurt my feelings a little bit when people were like, you don't need that. And I'm like, I do. Because it's for my happiness. It was just surprising, because and now, like, when I look at it, I understand, and it has helped me realize that, I don't need a new Christmas blanket every year. You don't need new kitchen towels. You don't need all of these things. If you want to buy them, you can, but you don't have to do those things. Like, you can do it on a respectable level. It's your money, do what you want with it. But that's something that I think hit home for me. I was like, you guys don't decorate for anything? Like, not for fall, not for any holiday. They don't decorate. They don't have any like special treats or flavors. During their big holidays, they have like a special bread, and that's it. I'm like, all right, well, great. But they don't have like products like we do, like Christmas themed things or Halloween themed things. They don't have that, which is interesting. You have to buy them, and they're imported, so they're super expensive. Maybe that's why only rich people do it. Now, something that a lot of people ask me about is how Christmas is seen, because it's a majority Muslim country. Now, a little backstory: Turkey, to call it a Muslim country is kind of controversial because it's a very political thing. Now, the guy that founded Turkey, sorry, I love history. So if you don't like history, just skip like a minute or so. The guy that founded Turkey, his name was Atatürk. And he was not a religious person. So he told the Turkish people, like, we are not a religious country. And that's why his goal was to be more westernized. So when you think of Muslim countries, Turkey is different. It's more European. So even the alphabet, like the guy who founded Turkey, he changed the alphabet from similar to like an Arabic style to the Latin alphabet. And he made certain things illegal in his time, like wearing a hijab on television. You couldn't do that. You couldn't go to a university wearing a hijab. So, which I think is kind of messed up. But in any case, in Turkey, they don't have, I never experienced like religious persecution. Now, I'm not a religious person, but if you're from a Christian country, which they believe the US is, they automatically assume you're Christian. Like, okay, like I don't even have to say anything, like, oh, I'm from America. Okay, Christian, like that's it. I never experienced anything negative. Honestly, they offered to take me to the churches, because there are churches in Turkey. There are Christian groups, specifically the Assyrians in southeastern Turkey. We went and visited like their area and stuff like that, their monasteries. I've never had any issues. Now, in the past, like there were issues, of course, but me, myself, no one has ever been, I don't think they've ever been prejudiced towards me or treated me differently. They were always really excited that I was there. And it's similar with Christmas. They don't think anything bad about it. They just don't understand like the decor. The only negative thing I saw was one time, it was on the news, they put a Christmas tree in one of the shopping malls, and some of the more traditional people, because there are two sides, just like in every country right now, there's a political rift. There's the traditional people who want like more religion, and then there's the other side who want to be more westernized. They were upset about the Christmas tree in the mall because they said it's not our holiday, like we're Muslim. And I can understand that. Like if you imagine you go to like Kentucky and in the mall they put up like a giant thing for a Muslim holiday, I think people would be a little bit upset. But I think what you experience on the news and what you experience in real life, or what you see on the news and what you experience in real life, are not the same. Obviously, the things that go on the news are extreme events because otherwise they won't attract attention. And I never experienced any negativity. People are always really nice, asking me questions. Even the most, like, I lived in a very traditional neighborhood, and I put my Christmas tree smack by the window with flashing lights, like, here's my Christmas tree. Never an issue. Never an issue. My husband started celebrating Christmas with me. His family never said anything. Like, they weren't like, oh, now you're celebrating this Christian holiday. Never, not once. And I think, like, if I were to start celebrating a Muslim holiday, my family might have more to say because my family's pretty religious. In any case, I just thought that it would be interesting, if you are interested in history and culture and things like that, to share my experience of Christmas in a country that doesn't celebrate it.
If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll be posting some knit and chat videos every Saturday evening. Thank you. Bye.